Hello guys, we're doing 100 men versus one gorilla thing. But we're not actually doing 100 men. We're doing a bunch of random characters you guys selected and I selected. Because yes, it would be funner to do that instead of, OMG, I gotta do this research on 100 men versus one gorilla. Nah, we're just doing random characters versus a gorilla. Let's get into it. My first pick is a broken character from his own game. Salvador. I could have just said Salvador and, this part would have ended, but let's get more deep into it. Salvador has an ability on his skill tree that allows him to punch away enemies. Sounds normal so far, doesn't sound too OP for this fight. Until you think about the enemies. We have giant fucking people that are basically tanks. We have literal fucking robots. That's only me counting the characters that I know would most likely be affected because I don't play with this ability. Well, if you're telling me a gorilla can survive a punch that pushes a giant fucking robot away, man, you're fucking crazy. Next character that will be fighting a gorilla. Star versus the Forces of Evil. Huh, that's an interesting choice. And I see you decided to choose Marco. We can technically do two characters here, because there's two different versions of Marco. Let's go with the skinny Marco first and then lead up to adult Marco, or whatever the fuck you want to call him. With Marco, there really isn't too much to go off of. Well, I feel like this scene is probably the best fight scene with Marco included. But yeah, I believe Skinny Marco does have a chance at beating a gorilla. Not like a full-on 100%, but, there's still a chance he's gonna win. Considering the size of the opponents here, yeah, I would say he has a possibility of beating a gorilla. And not to mention, in the dimension where he goes to get the dimensional scissors or whatever the fuck, apparently he spent 16 years there, so yeah, he has a lot of training under his belt. Talking about that dimension thing, let's talk about Marco when he goes in there. I believe this Marco absolutely could wrestle a gorilla and possibly win. Like, high chance winning. Because as you can clearly see, he's fit, he seems to be in his prime over here. I don't think he will lose to a gorilla. Especially with years of training and shit. Like, without a doubt, mostly a win. Lon from World of Final Fantasy. I decided to split him into technically two characters. One where he can do summons, and the other where he can't do summons. The reason for this is, I don't know if I should count summons as cheating or not, and how Lon does his summons, aka just catch a creature and then summon it, because I don't believe the object you catch the creature in, you have to have that to summon. At least I don't think you have to have it. So yeah, that's why I split this character into two. Let's start with the more boring option, Summoner Lon. Basically, I could just say, oh, he summons insert whatever fucking Mirage, or whatever the fuck they call it. And use insert spell. May that be thunder, freezing abilities, etc, etc. It's just too easy with Summoner Lon. You can literally think of any Mirage in the game that you're able to summon and just say, oh, he uses that, and yeah, it would probably fucking kill a gorilla. So yeah, very boring, lame, etc. Now, let's talk about the less boring option of not Summoner Lon. For this, I'm gonna have to spoil a lot of the game. So if you don't want spoilers for World of Final Fantasy, well, you better click off now or just skip this part. I'll wait like a few seconds for people to skip it. Are we good? Are we good to spoil the game? I don't have the DLC for the game, so this is just like the main game. But at the end of the game, well, one of the endings, sorry for that spoiler, we see Lan sacrifice himself fighting what is basically a devil from a hell dimension or some shit. Lan was able to kind of match his power with a punch before sacrificing himself and freezing the fucking Satan devil thing. But the fact that he can actually clash with what basically is Satan himself with this arm that, to my knowledge, you don't need an item to summon. So basically, yeah, I think this fucker can beat a gorilla. Next person. Very interesting choice of Buster Keaton over here. We will talk about Steve Irwin later. But if you've seen like the short films Buster Keaton's in, you know, the black and white ones, I can say, I don't know, it's about the same as Milo Murphy from that Disney show fighting a gorilla. Like, everything will go wrong, but somehow it will be all good in the end. It's quite literally if God allows it to happen. God could be like, oh yeah, this guy lost to a gorilla. Or God can be like, oh yeah, this guy wins to a gorilla. It's quite literally up in the air with Buster Keaton. Now let's talk about Steve Irwin. Yeah, I believe Steve Irwin would win against a gorilla. Not because he's strong or anything, even though he is strong. It's because he's literally the fucking Batman of animals. Like, give this guy a day of prep time and yeah, that gorilla is not winning. I don't really see a way he would lose to a gorilla, so yeah, Batman of fucking animals. You really think he's gonna lose against a gorilla? Yeah, I don't really know a lot about James Sutherland from Silent Hill 2. Like, at all, actually. But from what I can see from his, like, body build in the game, he's probably roughly the same level of Leon S. Kennedy in Resident Evil 2. So I don't think this character has 100% chance of beating a gorilla, but he can outsmart a gorilla then beat it. So probably like, I don't know, I'll be generous and say 65 chance of beating a gorilla. Unless I'm proven wrong, because I don't really know this character. But that's what I've seen, so who knows. Yeah, just like Salvador, I don't really have to explain why with this one. Well, for starters, he can literally carry a block of gold that is about half his height. Also netherite blocks. And also with new bundles, you can kind of multiply that. Like, literally one punch and the gorilla's dead. I don't have to say much more. Yeah, it was obvious one of the Mario Brothers is going to be here. I'm going to be real specific with this one. Mario Strikers Luigi. Yeah, that fucking soccer football spin-off. Yeah, that Luigi. But I think the biggest feat that will, you know, ultimately kill a gorilla is him literally kicking a fucking soccer ball, not anything, just a soccer ball, and causing a goddamn tornado. Yeah, literally, like, what the fuck. In the other Mario Strikers games, it would just be like, oh, he sets the ball on fire with a kick. Imagine getting kicked so hard that you either A, light on fire, or B, be literally the cause of a fucking tornado. Yeah, Mario Strikers Luigi is definitely going to kill a gorilla. Well, this is kind of the end of the video, because I can't think of any more human characters without weapons that can, you know, actually kill a gorilla. Or at the very least, has somewhat of a chance. But hey, if you have more male, female characters who want to fight a gorilla without any weapons, send them over, I guess. If I get enough characters, I'll probably make a part 2. Maybe rank them at some point, who knows. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.